AITA for telling my pregnant wife that she exposed our daughter to a predator? Story 1. 36M here. This has honestly been the most difficult week of my life. Emotions are high and I am not sure if I'm seeing things clearly. I've been with my wife 35F since college. We've been married for almost 5 years and have a 3-year-old daughter together. She's also around 5 months pregnant right now. I've always thought my wife's relationship with her family was a bit strange. When we were in college, she asked for her dad's advice approval on everything, even little things like whether she should ask her professor for an extension. Her parents are both intense and controlling at times, and my wife is less influenced by them now than she used to be now that she's older, has her own family, and lives on the other side of the country, but they still get under her skin at times. My wife was also the surprise baby, and she has 2 older brothers 7 years older. I'll call the brother who is 9 years older Tom for the sake of this story. Tom has always been a bit odd to me. He's married with no kids but is very religious and involved heavily with his church. My wife seems to enjoy seeing him at holidays well enough, but she isn't especially close with him. On Monday, my wife called me from her office sobbing. I asked what was wrong, and she told me Tom was arrested and being charged with possession of child pornography. I was shocked, to say the least. My wife ended up leaving work early and asked if I would do the same. When I got home, she told me a bit about the charges, how her parents are doing. I asked if she expected this, and she said she was surprised at first, but looking back she should have seen it coming. I asked what she meant, and she proceeded to tell me that when she was in 1st grade, Tom started coming into her room at night and touching her inappropriately. She said this lasted for a few years, but she doesn't know exactly when it stopped. When she was telling me this, she said it casually, like she was reading something off a menu. I, on the other hand, was shocked and furious. I told her Tom molested her. My wife said it was uncomfortable, but she never saw it that way, because it's normal for kids to experiment with each other. I said it would be one thing if they were very young and closer in age, but this was a 15-year-old boy and a little girl. I also explained that he did this when her parents went to SLEP and told her to keep it between them because he knew it was wrong at the time. Also, these were serious sexual acts that she should have never been exposed to as a little girl. As I was saying all this, my wife got more and more upset, and I could tell she was having a light bulb moment and realizing the seriousness of the situation. My wife, who was sobbing at this point, told me that she told her parents what happened to her when she was around 16. She wasn't upset with her brother, but was ashamed and thought she'd done something wrong. Her parents basically told her it was just normal childhood experimentation and she had nothing to be ashamed of. They also told her not to be upset with her brother because he was also a child at the time and didn't know right from wrong yet. My wife told me she was young, so she took their word for it and just kind of pushed the ABAC to the back of her head. I was furious with my in-laws, but tried to focus on comforting my wife, letting her know none of it was her fault. The last few days have been a nightmare. My wife's family is supporting Tom and are convinced he was wrongly accused. They have an elaborate explanation for how the images got on his laptop that I won't get into here. My wife is crying non-stop and is in so much pain. I feel terrible this happened to her, but the one thing I'm upset about is that she let our daughter near this man. If I'd known Tom did this to my wife, I would have never allowed my child in the same room as him. I told my wife that I wish I'd known for our baby's sake and added that while I'm devastated for her and love her so much, I'm still grappling with the fact that she allowed our little girl to be in the same room as a predator. My wife started sobbing when I said this and told me she didn't do it on purpose. She told me she accepted what her parents told her when she was a teenager and put it out of her mind. She said if she had thought about it more deeply as an adult, she probably would have realized Tom was dangerous, but she truly never stopped to think about it again after her parents told her it was okay. We agree that neither of our kids will ever be around Tom again, but she said she couldn't believe I thought she'd intentionally put our child in harm's way. She also said she couldn't believe I was coming down on her after she's realizing she was a victim of child abuse and her family is falling apart. I love my wife and believe that she trusted her parents and put it in the back of her mind. But I keep thinking about what might have happened if we'd continued to allow our daughter near that man. I believe my wife didn't consider this abuse until we talked and didn't consider that our daughter might be in danger, but I am still a bit puzzled by all of this. My wife is in so much pain, and I am not sure if I did the right thing by raising this issue while all of this is going on. AITA, and any advice would be appreciated. This all seems so over my head. First comment. If her parents think what Tom did to your wife was normal, They should not be trusted to be around your children either. After all, Tom had to learn his deviant behavior from somewhere. Second comment. NTA, but she's going to have to come to grips with the fact that her parents failed her, and that almost led to her failing her own child. It's time to put distance between your family and anyone that is on Tom's side, including her parents. Third comment. NTA, but this absolutely the wrong timing and frame for what is going on. Your wife is having to process buried trauma, her family in shambles, and I'm sure she is having her own guilt. This is above Reddit pay grade. You can have whatever feelings and opinions you want, but now isn't the time to lay at your wife's feet. She needs therapy immediately, and she needs your unconditional non-judgment support. We can circle back to judgment, but right now her world is falling apart. My heart goes out to her. Not the same situation, but similar, and I understand how she feels as an adult survivor confronting the myth of her childhood and her own curated reality being shattered. It's going to be a long road with lots of opinions. Please don't be another one for her to have to manage. Story 2. Bo. My ex-GF never told me that she was pregnant with my child, and I lost my SHT when she finally came clean to me. I broke up with my GF 2 years ago. I always loved and supported her, but she left me. No matter how much I begged her, she wouldn't listen to me. She just wanted to leave me. 4 months ago, she visited me and told me that I have a daughter. I loved my GF so much and I got angry and demanded a paternity test. We did the test, and she's definitely my daughter. I did the test multiple times. I was extremely furious at her for not just leaving me, but for not even telling me about my own daughter. She was sorry and cried, but I was angry and said that she's a bad human being. You left me when I loved you so much. I gave you my everything and you didn't tell me about my own daughter. She cried and said I should give her full custody and I should pay her so she can support my daughter. I said no, never. You didn't tell me about my own daughter, and you want me to just pay for my daughter when she doesn't even know anything about her own father? I'm going to court. Now my GF's parents are saying that I'm being an unrealistic ass. I should just support my daughter's mother, and in time I will get to see my daughter and get to be with my daughter. I know I'm not an asshole to be with my daughter and for doing whatever I need to be with her, but should I just give my daughter's mother some time to just get over everything that has happened? Edit, I just have a question. Can I just make an agreement or something that she gives me my daughter and I pay her in return? She gets her money and I get my daughter? I can ask my family members to help me with money and my father and uncles won't refuse. I just want my daughter. First comment, NTA. Your ex is an asshole for keeping your daughter and you apart for over a year. Your reaction was warranted. However, now your ex is irrelevant. What matters is what's best for your daughter. Give yourself time to digest this and then decide how to move forward. I generally recommend fathers go for shared custody and taking up their role as fathers for their children, but you must determine what you think is best for you and your daughter. Take care. Second comment. Know you need to get an attorney and work out a parenting plan. It will take a little time for your daughter to get to know you, but sounds like you want to be in her life and be the best father you can for her. Good for you. Third comment. AITA for according to your edit wanting to buy your daughter. Yes, your ex sucks, but this is absolutely not how parenthood works. Go to therapy, learn what it means to be a good father, and then go for shared custody via the courts. This shouldn't be about your ex and your anger. This should be about your daughter. Story 3. AITA for forcing my son to give me half of his income. I won the lottery. $1,000 a day for life. I'm 58. My son is 19. I went to him and told him that I wanted to make a deal. I would give him the ticket. In return, he would give me half of the money until I die. Then he gets all the money. He said he needed to think about it. He came back and said it wasn't really fair for me to want half. He said that I could live another 40 years, that he might need the money more, and that I should take 20%. I said I would think about it. I signed the ticket and claimed the lump sum. I am seeing a lawyer to set my son up for life. His education will be paid for. When he gets older, he will be able to purchase a home for free basically. A trust fund will be set up so he gets a good amount of money for the rest of his life. Now he is pissed that I went back on my offer. I thought I was being smart, but I didn't realize how greedy he was. He also told my ex about the money and she is pissed that I'm not giving her anything. We have been divorced for years. I owe her nothing. No, I won't give you anything if you ask. There is a reason I'm using a throwaway. First comment. A 19-year-old kid tried to negotiate from $180K a year for doing nothing to $290K a year with zero leverage and was surprised when it blew up in his face. What a maroon. If my father had offered me that deal, I would show up at his doorstep every morning with his cash, a dozen donuts, and his coffee exactly the way he likes it. Second comment. This moron said no thanks to 500 USD per day? No offense, I know he's your son, but man, what a greedy asshole. Holy HT. 500 every efficking day wasn't enough. Needed more. Wow. Third comment. NTA. It's your winnings, not your son's. I do think it's very admirable of you to set your son up with a good education and home though. Most people go on a spending spree after winning, but it sounds like you're making a good investment.